Hi, it's Mitch from Pickdawgz.com here with your free pick in the Minnesota versus Maryland college basketball matchup on Sunday, January 7th, 2024. Of course, if you like all the free picks we do at Pick Dawgz, you'll love our best bets, our premium picks. Use that discount code PICK for 15% off. We also have Dime Club and Sharp Trading Plays meant for people who make big bets. If that's you, go ahead and text that number that you see on the screen. These are not available on the website. The only way to get these numbers, these packages, is to text that number. But let's get to this one. Minnesota taking on Maryland. Big Ten college basketball action. 5:30 Eastern time start. So a lot of people watching the NFL. Maybe we find some value here on the college hardwood. Minnesota enters this game 11-3 on the season. The Gophers much improved over what we've seen in recent years. Whether or not they're an NCAA tournament team, we're going to find out over the next few months. But that would be a massive leap for this team that has been mired in disappointment for several years at this point. Meanwhile, Maryland, an NCAA tournament team from a year ago, they've been rocky the last few years, kind of a little bit of up and down. 9-5 coming into this one, 1-2 on the road. That one win coming though at Pauley Pavilion at UCLA. A tough building to win at, but the Terps went in there and got it done. They are 8-2 straight up in their last 10, just 4-6 against the number. You know, I think when we look at these two Big Ten teams, Maryland opened up against Purdue at home in their regular Big Ten schedule. Of course, they played a few Big Ten games earlier, losing at Indiana and beating Penn State. And then, you know, that this opener of the real Big Ten schedule, that loss against Purdue, they got absolutely blown out of the building in their own house. It was a game that, you know, the line was dropping. The sharps appeared to be on Maryland, and that's where the money seemed to be going. But I'll tell you what, the books ended up with most of that money because it was all Purdue in that matchup. When we look at some of these other wins that Maryland has had, they've done some nice things, beating, you know, South Alabama, UMBC, but these are certainly not the level of competition that they're going to be facing in the Big Ten this year, and we saw that last time out. Meanwhile, Minnesota beat Michigan at Michigan last time out, 5.5-point dog, won outright by 2, and I think this is sort of the progress that we're seeing from this Minnesota team this year. When we saw them play in those couple of games earlier in the Big Ten during the out-of-conference phase of the season, we saw them lose to Ohio State by 10, but they were getting 12.5 in that game, and they were actually really competitive. I watched that game. I watched most of the games out there, and then they came back and beat Nebraska, who's also another team on the rise. They beat them 76-65. That game was at Minnesota. They had that prior loss against San Francisco. They kind of got blown out in that one. I think that's part of the growth process here for the Gophers, but like most teams that try and do a turnaround or are trying to turn things around, the good ones, right, the good coaches, what they do is they coach up the defense and then hopefully hit some threes on top of it. So when we look at Minnesota, the defense has been pretty decent. It's certainly not among the best of the best in college basketball, but certainly not near the worst, you know, just over 100 ranked. So in the top quarter or so of college basketball teams. Meanwhile, the Maryland offense has been absolutely dreadful, not even 41% from the floor when it comes to shooting. And like I said, you know, Minnesota shoots the threes extremely well. This is how you turn things around, is you play defense, you shoot threes. Maryland's D, not all that bad either, but at the same time, I think Minnesota lights them up from beyond the arc. I think Minnesota's regular shooting also clearly better here. The Gophers are the better team. It's odd for us to say that since we haven't really been able to say that in years, but I'll take Minnesota, and that's going to be my free pick. Of course, while you're doing your picks, putting your bets in, use our free betting tools at sportschatplace.com. They're 100% free, and they'll help put you on the most favorable bets on the board today.